Today I will be discussing a theory about Ditto being a virus. Hello and welcome back to Pokemon Theory, the show where Professor Oak really isn't a professor and going to the gym doesn't mean pumping iron. Unless you're in Dewford Town, which is a literal gym. Ditto is a Pokemon from Gen 1 that infamously can transform into any Pokemon, and going by the anime, pretty much anything. Ditto has been seen transforming into a book and a canon as well, bringing up the question, what can't Ditto transform into? From this stems some questionable fan fictions and inspired art, if you want to call it art, that is. Either way, it's widely assumed that Ditto is a failed clone of Mew, another Pokemon that can transform and mimic other Pokemon, and the original Pokemon created by the Pokemon gods, as it were. All other Pokemon came from Mew, which is why it's able to learn every move, transform, and mimic as well. But Ditto cannot, which is why it's commonly referred to as a failed clone of Mew. It was found in the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island as well, leading people to assume that it was created there when the scientists were creating Mewtwo, Mew's clone. But then Mewtwo blew up the laboratory and then tried to destroy the world, so yeah, that didn't work out. Back to Ditto though. Most people assume Ditto to be a created Pokemon, like Porygon. But what if I told you Ditto is just like Deyoxsys? It's a virus. While Ditto's dex does not reference this, it does explain Ditto can transform, copying other Pokemon moves, types, appearance, but not its stats. Ditto can alter its DNA, but it cannot copy memories, meaning that it too is able to manipulate the laws that govern its substance. But if it can do this, then does that not make it a virus? Well, yes, it does not need to become parasitic in nature to survive. Many viruses do not need it either to survive, but rather grow instead. Viewing this from another angle, we can think of it like this. Ditto, once encountering a Pokemon, can become something stronger almost always. Debatable, even Pokemon like Magikarp and Caterpie are better than a base Ditto because they can actually learn attacks like Tackle, at least in Gen 1. While Ditto might not conform to a perfect definition of a virus, it does so enough to make people think. This little piece of chewed gum could become a basic viral cell copying something stronger to learn how to become stronger itself. But there is definitely a way for me to explain that Ditto can indeed become a virus. Remember Ditto's unofficial brother, Porygon? Another synthetic Pokemon, except this Pokemon can enter cyberspace. While this Pokemon is physically and tangible in the Pokemon world, it can also go inside a computer and potentially the internet. How or why in a more scientific form, well, that's for another video for another day. But it can go in with multiple people and take people out, just like in the anime. Then it too can bring something back inside of it, right? Like a virus. And this theory could actually just have been Porygon spreads viruses in the real world and would have been just fine. However, what would happen if Ditto transformed into a Porygon that had a virus?
But Proto, how could Porygon even get a virus? But Proto, why would Ditto copy that virus? You need to go into more depth. I like the old Protomario better.
Yes, comment section. I hear you. All the amazing, mind-blowing theories that are mainstream have been done to death, but I will go in more depth with this one. Pokemon was programmed in the early 90s to late 90s, which was an era that introduced mass downloads from sites like Napster and later LimeWire as well. Once this occurred, many PCs were often susceptible to attacks as many people were very ignorant about computers during that time. What we have today is very nice compared to the 90s, but take my word for it, viruses ran amok in the 90s due to ignorance. If Porygon entered a PC that was infected or went through a network with a virus, it too would become a carrier of the virus at the very least, even if the virus didn't affect it in the same way. But then how does a digital virus come into the physical world? That's again a video more suited to another theory, but taking a previous theory I covered, the Pokemon world is a massive simulation, it's all just a game. No, really, it's just a massive program in a computer. The long and the short of that is, if the Pokemon world really was a digital type of world, then a virus coming from their own computer systems would have no problem in the physical world surviving, their digital world. I know it's very difficult to think about these theories stacking up and combining, as many of them are yet to be official canon. However, keep this in mind, that same world created a Pokemon, Porygon, a Pokemon that can literally go inside of our computers. So not exactly the most scientifically accurate locations. So suspending your disbelief for a bit would allow you to enjoy videos like this a bit more. Either way, if Ditto transformed into a Porygon with a virus, what would happen? Well, we might have an answer for why Missing No could actually exist in the real Pokemon world, but it can also explain how glitches happen without exterior influence in the Pokemon games as well. To what extent is this theory true? It's up to you. Do you think Ditto is a virus because it clones DNA to become stronger, or do you think Ditto catching a computer virus could make it into a virus?